Wow, that took a really long time. Hey, this is Andy over at Falco Canine Academy, here to give you an update on Charlie, the bed bug detection dog. He's just kind of motoring along and doing some really good stuff. This video that I'm going to show you that I will be narrating in just a few minutes took place, I think, on Monday of earlier this week. And so then I have some more video from another training day on Thursday. And so I'll have that coming up maybe later today, maybe try to catch up, or actually maybe even tomorrow, but I'm not sure. But things are going really, really well. So go ahead and make sure and let me know if there's that you want to talk about, because I had some really good hints on, not some hints, I got some really good questions that will lead us into some upcoming videos on stuff other than the bed bug stuff, but other worthy information. One of them is I was asked by one of our good friends about what I thought about the bonker technique. I guess it is the bonker technique. And at least up to that point, I think I heard people mentioning it before. Wow. And I've looked into it, and I have an opinion, and I will talk about it. We'll actually play one of the videos, and you can see, those of you that don't know what that is, the bonker technique. I'll show a video, and that'll be coming up very shortly in the next couple of days. We'll be talking about that. And another friend of mine asked about can no be a command? And I actually do have a video on YouTube about that very thing. So it's about 4 years old, maybe 3 years old. But we're going to bring it back. I do have the presentation for that particular discussion about no being a command or not being a command. And that is a really good question. So we'll be talking about that. And what else? There was bonker training, the bonker technique, and about no being a command, if it could be a command. Oh, shoot. Oh, I got the new podcast coming out. I knew there was something I wanted to talk about. And so I was looking for our Facebook page to make sure that we were running, and I'm pretty sure the sound probably is working. Oh, shoot. Oh, I got the new podcast coming out. I knew there was something I wanted to talk about. Now I got to, hold on, panic. There we go. I couldn't turn off the sound. All right. So I want to make sure and put a couple URLs in here. This one is for our free report on training your dog with love and respect. If you haven't got this yet, many of you have. The last video I did, which was on the training with love and respect in regard to police dogs, that got something like 400 views. So I want to always make sure that if there's new people in, make sure that you go ahead and get this free report. I'm going to put it right here in the comments section on Falco Canine Academy. If you're watching this on one of our other Facebook pages, like the Healthy Dog Network, hey, Amanda Rice. Gina and I are in class right now, but we will catch the replay. Good. Amanda, one of our great trainers. Gina, of course, is our lead trainer for the Falco Canine Orange County. And then we have our other trainer, Derek, which I don't know if he's there or not, but that's Amanda letting us know that that she will be watching this preview a little bit later on, or this replay a little bit later on. So there is the URL for the what's it called? For the dog training with love and respect. And now I'm going to put in, here's one way that you can find our Train the Dog Trainer podcast. And let me put it in here. So I'll put the URL. There's a couple extra steps here. I got to actually put this in my notes so I can do this a lot easier. But we have our Train the Dog Trainer podcast that I think we're in about episode 6 or 7. I'm not sure which ones are going out right now. But you can also find us on iTunes and Spreaker. And here we are. I'm almost there. And you can find it on this Facebook page called Train the Dog Trainer Facebook page. So that is in the URL too. So if you go to the Facebook page, Train the Dog Trainer, you'll find the episodes of the podcast on there. So, and I would start with one. That way you keep going. They're in succession on things that I think that I think are in a good order for anybody who's interested, right, in being a dog trainer. If you're already a dog trainer, it's also not a bad podcast to listen to, so you can be reminded of where you started from. But also maybe there's some hints on how to help up and coming dog trainers by introducing them into some of the things I'm talking about in those first couple podcasts. Hey, Shelby, nice to see you. Shout out to Gina and Derek and Amanda in the OC. Fantastic. And I'm in Webinar Jam today because I'm going to be playing that video that I pre-recorded. It's a little bit easier for me to pre-record, a video and talk about what's going on than it is to try to do it with a screen share. So when I'm sharing a video, I use Webinar Jam, so I can't show the comments like I would normally be able to when I'm using another platform called Be Live. So here, so what we're going to be talking about today, and this is, I'm jumping right into it, is Charlie's first day in searching. Hey, Kelly, searching somewhere other than the garage, my home, and that's about it. Oh, the driveway. We did some searches on the driveway. So that is in what would be considered now a familiar environment that the dog would be searching in. Many dogs, including some of the pet dogs that we get asked to train, often do really well in environments that they are comfortable in, that they live in or visit on a regular basis. So dogs are usually going to perform better or act up more because they feel comfortable, kind of like kids, right? If they feel comfortable in an environment, they tend to act up more, as opposed to when they first come in, they're very quiet and kind of shy, right? When they're in a new environment. And then once it becomes familiar, then they go, hey, this is a great place. So they can act differently. So we always want to progress through training to try to take the dog in new places, whether it's the new room in a large environment, like our church is a huge campus, and there's upper campus and lower campus and off-site stuff that we get to use, and we're very lucky. So we have a lot of tools in places in new environments a dog gets to visit. And so this is Charlie's very first time in that environment. And what I like about Charlie is that he's picking up on the search behavior of a somewhat of a pattern. It's kind of a hodgepodge pattern right now, but it's the birth of a searching pattern, which you're seeing when I tell him to go search. He almost every time automatically, every so often he'll stall and kind of like, I'm confused, and he'll shake, and then he'll go search. So, and that is normal, except for he's, I think, a little bit ahead of the game, where I say search and he really begins to start sniffing and getting his head around stuff and really trying to find stuff. So look for that in this video. Understand that it's still in this stage, because now we're back to a brand new situation for this dog, that I'm back to really pointing out certain areas. Okay. Keep in mind that does not continue. One of the problems I see handlers after a year, 2, 3 years, they're still doing things as if it's the basic stages of training, and they're still pointing out different areas where they want the dog to sniff. That is completely inappropriate. It is not the way this this job is supposed to work. The dog should begin to know where those cracks and crevices and places that his nose needs to be successful. And you should no longer have to step in, other than when he gets lost or he gets distracted by something. Then you step in, you step back out. So you're going to see me in there a lot, again, because I'm teaching the dog where he needs to stick his nose. But as the dog begins to learn that, you're going to start seeing me back off a little bit and allowing the dog to search on his own. All right. So look for that. No, not on this one. On the next one, I go down to 1 vial for the searches. Right now, we're still using 3 to 4 vials of bed bugs. They have about 6 to 10 bugs in them now. Some of the bugs obviously were females that were pregnant, because now I see lots of tiny nymphs in there crawling around. Sorry, losing my voice. And so there's more bugs in there than when I first got them, right? So we're now in the more recent training that I did the last couple of days, I dropped down to using 1 vial. But in this video, we're still using 3 to 4 vials, again, because we're going into a new environment. We want to make it as easy as possible. We don't want the set time to have to be a really long time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set up this video here. And it's going to be perfect timing, because I'm going to get a drink of water and see if I can save my voice. All right, so here is the video, and enjoy. All right, so we're going to take a look here at Charlie's first visit into the church. The church is called Yorba Linda Friends Church, obviously in Yorba Linda, California. And this is his very first experience. As you see him come into the screen, that's his very first time searching this church. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the video now so you can see it in a still picture. And right over here, I'm going to put an arrow so you can see it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. In the fourth the crease here, or I'm not sure what to put, where you put the two chairs together between 4 and 5 is where the bed bugs are. All right, so they're in there about 4 inches back, and he can't get to them. He can stick his nose in there a little bit, but can't reach the bed bugs. So they're inside this chair configuration. So what you need to understand is that now here we have a different environment with different wind issues, wind, not like, hurricane wind, but, air movement, I guess is the best way to say it. Air movement is going to be different because we have different air vents pointing in different directions. There's 2 doors. There's one on each end of this room. So with one door closed and one door open, you have one configuration in regard to air movement. And then if we were to open up both doors, then you have different, and then if both doors are closed, you have different. So there's different air movement configurations that are happening as I'm opening doors and closing them, causing vacuum effects. And all those things are just awareness when you're training, why sometimes a dog will find it very quickly and why other times a dog won't. So those are just things you need to keep in mind as you're doing training, that you don't kick yourself in the butt because one day your dog finds it in one room and then the next day he doesn't. If you just simply were to kind of pay attention to what doors are open, what windows are open, if the air conditioner is on, if the air conditioner is on, all those things are going to tell you why on one day you have great success in the same situation as opposed to another situation. So those are some of the things you just need to be aware of. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play. I'm going to stop and start like I like to do to kind of narrate on one of the things that are happening, but just understand that this is very first time experiencing this room, and we'll take a look and see what happens. All right, here we go. We'll push play. You're going to be able to hear the volume a little better. I just realized there was a switch that I kept forgetting to click on, so I can control the volume a little bit better, and so you can hear what's happening inside the room. All right, here we go. Oops, sorry, big head there. Okay, starting from the seated position is one of the things I like to do. That way the dog knows we're beginning the search. And right away he begins sniffing those chairs. I'm really impressed with this dog. This dog has no prior experience other than what you've mostly seen on video. Again, I don't videotape every moment. So what you see is kind of each phase, and then we do more searches in each phase that I don't record. And that's why you're seeing progress, probably more so at a bigger step, because there's a few training sessions in between. But what you're seeing is this is the first time he's been in this room. So you see right there, he went right to the crack, right? And he turns around and looks at me. And again, because we're in a different room, now he goes, oh shoot, I was supposed to sit. Right? And so, but again, what we're trying to teach him is that you can't have that. We need you to find the source and then sit. So now confusion sets in, because in his mind, he found the odor and he sat, right? Well, we need him to find the odor, go to source, stay at source, and sit. So there he's on the fringe. But again, he gets up fairly quickly and fairly easy, that's that confusion. And this is where it just is still beginning to come together. Now you can see his tail is changing, his body posture is changing, he's now scratching at the location. But now he's thinking, well, maybe I'm wrong. But now if he sits, it's still going to be too much of a delay, so I want him to go back in there and nose it first. Again, we want to go from source location to sit. Still not talking to him. I'm waiting for him to give me something. I don't want him to get used to me answering all of his questions with some type of verbal cue of some sort. So now I'm going to help him. He's just kind of frozen. He hasn't sat now. He's been to it probably 4 or 5 times. This next time he sticks his nose in there, part of training, I'm going to remind him to what he's supposed to do. Get that nose in there, and now you see the slight little correction. It fell out of my armpit. But you see what I'm doing there? It's you wait for him. If he can make the decision on his own, that's even better, right? It does cause confusion, no doubt, that he went to it. He kind of later thought about the sit. Could I have rewarded it? Maybe, but I think, again, for me and for who this dog is, another dog maybe would have rewarded. This dog, I know, he recovers quickly from not getting rewarded. And he learns fast. So he learns fast by, watch this. Again, good selection of the dog, because that does not make him pee all over himself. He just kind of gets past it and not that big of a deal. Other dogs may have freaked out if that would happen to them. All right, so I play with him just a little bit extra longer now that chair kind of folded down. And he recovers fast. So like I said, I've had other dogs that they will not even go back to those chairs. So that's probably one of the reasons why I decided to do it again, because I thought that one thing that I was able to do, connect the odor to where it was to a sit, was good. But I think because that chair fell on top of his head, it's important for us to come right back and do another search. So now here he's kind of just, again, still figuring out the game. I said search, and he's now still looking at me. What I probably should have done is started him in a sit, and again, he's getting used to that. There's the place where he knows where it's at. He smells it. I don't have a hold of the leash, so I can't give him help. Again, this is just one of those things where he's got to learn that it's all about that sit. Right now he thinks it's all about the odor. He smells the odor, he's looking for the toy. He goes, that's good enough, right? No, I need the sit, dude. And because of change of environment, change of looks, we got to give him the sit correction, help him out, and then give him the toy. So we just remind him. So here you see I'm changing locations a little bit quicker. There was 2. That was good enough. Now let's move on to another place. Because he's already shown that he can have success. And now what I'm doing is I've thrown in a little bit of obedience. What I did cut out here is about 3 minutes of obedience, because you couldn't see me on film. All you saw was the dog's tail every so often, and it would have been pretty boring to watch mostly just those chairs. So here I'm trying to help him understand that his obedience is important. I need him to, when I stop, I need him to sit so that his right shoulder is in line with my left leg, and I need that position. So we're going to wait until he does it. I'm helping him understand, putting his butt where I want it, petting him on the head. That's where I want you. Again, this is not the same thing I would do with every dog, but this is just one thing I'm doing with this dog. And because this is how he learns. He learns well. So now I'm going to go ahead and pause it for 1 second so I can show you where it is. So there's these handicap covers on these chairs, and right in here, underneath this cover, right about here. So the odor is going to be coming out here. So, and also the odor could be coming out through the fibers. There's no doubt about that. So if he smells it and takes a good whiff of it up here somewhere on the fabric, then yes, I'm going to go ahead and give him the reward. But for the most part, odor still will hit little barriers here and there, and most of it will come out due to gravity, will come out here and fall to the floor. So this is where the find is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's there. All right, so it's right inside there. All right, and it's only 2 vials. We got 2 vials in there. So here we go. Here's plate. All right, balancing the ball. And get him to start searching. He's searching the chairs that are to the right there, out of frame. Oh my gosh. I like how he does that. He just sticks his head over and like pushes his neck down. He's doing a really good job of sniffing those chairs. We're going to get him to go in between those chairs pretty soon, but again, no sense of overworking him. Smelling the chair, doing a good job. Good. Smells it good. Nice. Good sniff. There you can see the change of behavior. I like it because it's above his head, his butt is already almost in the down position as he goes up there and smells it. Nice. And I'm pretty sure that probably helped a little bit by having it up above his head just a bit and not down. So again, his butt is more going towards that direction as he sniffs up on that thing. And here I just want to take out, oops, I went to the wrong one. That's the right one. He did sniff the correct one. You can watch the replay. Those are the bed bugs. I just didn't, I wanted to take them out so you could see that they're actually in there. I keep forgetting that sometimes I wonder what people think, well, how do I know there was really something there? Yep, there were 2 bed bug vials inside that plastic bag, inside that cover. And there's his plan, and there's how he did on his first day in church. Good boy. So this was based from this Facebook Live that you're watching this from. This was 4 days ago. I have another training session that I'm going to create a video for once I get that up and running. That was from yesterday's training, and I'll show you how we progressed and did more. All right, that's it. All right, so that really wasn't yesterday's when I recorded it. It was Tuesday and yesterday was Monday, but today I know is Saturday. So, since then we've had another training session. I'm going to put that video together too, and you're going to see how things get to progress. And just in those 2 exercises, you saw good progress, right? So the dog is searching something completely different. Up to this point, it searched cinder blocks, couches, and beds. Now the dog's having to search folding chairs, and the training that we're going to have that we did yesterday had different what are they called, bar stool type of stools. And where did we go inside the church? We went somewhere and did something else inside the church. Can't remember. Oh, it was all the chairs. So now the dog had to stick his nose in between each one of the chairs, a long row. So that was a little bit longer. And so what we want to watch here is the progress, see where maybe we made some errors. Like I said, one error would have been that the ball fell out of my armpit there prematurely before I had a chance to grab it and toss it. We saw that in the World Series game last night a couple times. But yeah, where he goes, or I went to reach for it and it just kind of fell out. And so those little things are mistakes. Whether they set you back or not are not that big of a deal, probably, but sometimes they do set you back because now the dog will find it and then come running to you because he thinks it's going to fall. The ball's going to fall at your feet. That's what you don't want, right? That's why you see me tossing it over to where the dog is, because we want the dog to stay there. If you make enough of those mistakes where it falls out of your armpit and falls at your feet, what will happen is the dog will smell the odor and then run over to you, because that's where the ball ends up being deposited, right? So you want to be careful that the dog doesn't get any bad habits. One training I took over years ago for a very large organization is one where every handler would throw a ball towards one dog that was searching. They would always all be in the room together back before I got there. And so when I came in and saw this, what was happening is that 4 or 5 balls would be thrown towards this dog. And so what the dogs were learning now, because they didn't want to get beaned, they would run back so they get out of the way, and then they would just pick the ball that came the closest to them because there were so many balls flying at them. And so he had all these dogs going to odor and then running backwards 10, 15 feet. Literally, if there was 10 or 15 feet for them to run into, they would run 10, 15 feet back, which is not ideal. Right. We don't get to see where the dog alerted sometimes, because the dog will find it and the dog goes running back. These are all bomb dogs, so it's really a good thing, I guess, that the dog ran away. But at least we want to know where it is before the dog takes off and runs. So those little things, they may not seem that big of a deal, but if you do them too much, too often, you can create a problem in your dog. Where Charlie stuck his head to chase the ball and went underneath the stack of chairs that were kind of leaning up against the wall and fall on them. With some dogs, that could have been a huge setback. Believe me, I've had to be setbacks for Malinois, German Shepherds. We had a dog that got like a carry-on type of bag, duffel bag, when he was running and got one caught around his paws. And when we were doing narcotic searches for packages, the dog would not have anything to do with the packages for a very long time because of that one incident of the handle getting wrapped around his leg, and he couldn't get it off and was running, and the thing appeared to be kind of chasing him and then attacking him as he ran. And so these little tiny things on the surface look tiny, but they can lead to big problems that we have to try to fix later on. So the good news is, when you're selecting a dog, you want to make sure that you're selecting a dog that has confidence, and that is one of the reasons, because you never know what's going to happen, especially early on. This dog's only 14 months old, and that's young enough that something like that could have affected him for a very long time. But based on the selection process, we picked a dog with a lot of confidence. So when that happens, it's not nearly as big of a deal as it could be for some dogs. So just looking at those things individually and talking about them, you can see where you have to kind of be careful and then come back and do an exercise to make sure that you address it quickly. It's like getting back on the horse, right? You want to get back on the horse really fast. Make sure the dog understands that that's not a big deal. It's a rarity, and you didn't get killed when it happened. So not that big of a deal. So hope that was helpful to you, to see some of the stuff we're doing. Again, I'll be putting together the videos from some of the training we did yesterday and talking through that, hopefully later on today. If not, then I hope to have it for you tomorrow. All right. Hope that was helpful to you all. And I will see you on the next one. Hey, Jan Springer, watching from the casino. Hi, $40 on horses. Nice. Boo, what was the boo for? Oh, it's Halloween. I get it now. I'm betting on horses and dogs. Very good. All right, 40 on the black horse with the red bibs on the rider. All right. and let me know if I won. All right, that is it. All right, gang, we'll see you at the next one, and hopefully we'll get another one in today, and we'll talk a little bit more. But don't forget, we're going to be talking about whether or not no can be a command, and we're going to be talking about the bonker technique in 2 up-and-coming episodes very quickly, sir. So make sure and subscribe. Make sure and like our page. That way you get notified anytime we go live. And if you get a chance, if you can see the 5 stars on our Facebook page, if you can click that and rate us high. If you don't like what we're doing, then just call me or something and we'll talk about it. All right. We'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.